Joining us now, Liz Harrington, spokesperson for the Trump campaign 2020. Liz Harrington, she used to be with the Washington Free Beacon, and I used to have her on once in a while when the Washington Free Beacon and their gang of neocons over there didn't piss me off. But I would have Liz on once in a while. But, yeah, that is the neocon warmonger publication of all time in Washington, no question about it. Liz, sorry you had to complain about your former employer, but the neocons over there drove me absolutely bananas. But I still had you on once in a while. Liz, and it's great to have you back. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for leaving.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for leaving the Washington warmonger neocon Free Beacon. Thank you. Now you're with the Trump campaign.
Hey, they
not
still
a
do
fan.
good work over there. So
I know, but
yeah.
they're a bunch of warmongers. They never met a conflict they didn't back. So the fact that the people that started that, they're all the John Bolton, get us involved in every conflict and over the globe. And as you know, I'm a non-interventionalist. That's why I'm for Trump. Now, Liz, tell me about this big rally. What's going on?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Thursday night in Manchester. I hear you're up there. And, yeah, President, New Hampshire was a very close state in 2016, only lost by 0.3 percentage points. And so he's going to come back. He was there election eve in 2016. He's coming back as the campaign's gearing up for 2020 because we've got so much great news to talk about with this economy. New Hampshire's added 19,700 new jobs, including 1,700 manufacturing jobs, which Biden and Obama told us were never coming back. And the unemployment rate is down to 2.5%. And really good news also, New Hampshire saw an average tax cut of $1,400. And so he's going to be talking about all these successes. The country's really moving in the right direction. The economy's booming. And then when you look over to the other side, the Democrats are hanging out way far to the left. They're saying those tax cuts are going away on day one. We're going to kick you off your private health insurance, move you on to a one-size-fits-all DMV-style healthcare system. Your taxes will go through the roof. We'll take away your care, give it to illegal immigrants, and the economy will be destroyed in the process. So we're going to be talking about that contrast because it couldn't be more clear.
Absolutely. Liz, this is one of the states that the Trump 2020 campaign is targeting. We only lost it in 2016 by 2,700 votes. We have a new chairman, just had him on, Steve Stepanek, been a Trump supporter from the beginning. Last time in New Hampshire, we had all kinds of issues here. We had a bunch of never-Trumpers around. A lot of people in New Hampshire didn't vote for him. Kelly Ayotte ran away from him in her re-election campaign, much to, our chagrin. Both of them ended up losing. So, that was not helpful. None of that is going to happen this year, especially. I'm just giving you my opinion. I know you can't comment on this. Lewandowski is going to run for Senate, Corey Lewandowski. He is going to be the nominee, and I think he's going to win. So if he is the nominee, we're not going to have the problems we had with the Kelly Ayotte campaign last time that basically disassociated themselves from the Trump campaign. So we're not going to have that. That's going to be a big help right there. Plus, the great job he's done. I mean, in 2016, he said what he was going to do. In 2020, he can talk about what he's already done and the success that he's had, right?
Exactly. The support is only growing, and you see on issue after issue holding China accountable. This is a promise that politicians promised to do for decades. And meanwhile, they gave everything away to China and let them in the World Trade Organization and completely destroyed our trade relationship with them to all tilt the scale in favor of China. Well, the president ran on this issue, and now he's doing it. And factories are leaving China, and our economy is strong, and their economy is hurting, and he's going to keep the pressure on. That's just one of many examples. Moving the embassy to Jerusalem, that was something that Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama all promised that they would do. And this is the president, President Trump, who got it done. And it's on issues like all of this. He just looks he looks at the field, and he says, what can we do to make this country strong? What can we do to make this economy grow? What can we do to make this country safe? And he does it. He puts the country first, and he's doing it. And we see it in our lives. We see it in our communities. We see it in our paychecks. And then when you look at the other side and you have Bernie Sanders saying, oh, it just costs a little bit of money, the $93 trillion Green New Deal, the $32 trillion socialized health care plan, the $2 trillion, quote-unquote, free college plan that he's putting forth. It's just a little bit of money. So what? From a guy who's never had a job in his life. All of those successes in the economy goes away if any of these Democrats get into office, because they would hike our taxes, they would get government back in control of every aspect of our lives, and it would tank this economy. And so this president, people see the policies are actually working, and then you look at the other side and what they're proposing would destroy all the progress we've made in just these short 2.5 years. We're ready to keep this train moving. We're ready to make this country strong and safe and prosperous again. It's happening, and we don't want that to go away.
Liz, the level of intimidation, by the way, we're with Liz Harrington, spokesperson, Trump Campaign 2020, Washington, D.C. Liz, let me ask you this. A lot of Trump supporters being intimidated now by various people being called racists. They're afraid to wear their hats. They're afraid to put a sticker on their car. They're afraid to say they're for Trump. In Texas and San Antonio, donors to the president over $200 got doxxed on a Twitter handle by one of the presidential candidates' congressman brothers, putting their names out there, putting them at written. Nobody wants to have to deal with that if they give money. Sure, there's public disclosures, but it's not put in a Twitter that says you're a racist for giving money to the president's reelection campaign. What impact is this level of hard left intimidation, very aggressive? You know what Antifa did in Portland, Oregon? I mean, they were throwing Molotov cocktails around, and a guy got shot with a high-powered weapon that he brought there to a Trump rally. What impact is that? What kind of a chilling impact is that going to have on Trump supporters in 2020?
Well, I actually think it has the reverse effect. It may have the effect that you're not going to tell a stranger in a pollster that you support this president because of the hatred coming out of the media and from the Democrats. You might not tell a stranger, but I think it's turning more people into our camp because they're tired of being demonized. And this has been going on for years, and I think it's one of the main reasons, one of the big reasons that President Trump won in 2016. The Democrats are doubling down on all those reasons. It was the political correctness. It was demonizing Republicans as racists and deplorables and this. Well, now it's on steroids. And now they're saying you're a bad person because you are half the country that supported a duly elected president who loves this country. That's what it's all about. That's all what this movement is about. We love this country. We want it to do well. We want to put America first. And they say you're a bigot. But they've been doing that for decades, but now they're just even more blatant about it and more nasty. What Joaquin Castro did, and for Julian Castro, who's running for president, to say he's proud of his brother for putting the names in a target list who are now receiving threats at their places of business in Texas just because they exercise their right to contribute to the Trump campaign. They're demonizing normal, everyday Americans as racists, as bigots, just because they support a duly elected president. This needs to stop. I think people are tired of it, and it's just moving more people into our camp because they're going to say, wait a minute, I know my neighbor. We might not view the same way eye to eye, see things eye to eye politically, but they're not a bad person. And yet the media and the Democrats are saying you are a bad person, you are evil, you are complicit in mass shootings. This is sick. It's got to stop. It's so divisive. And I think it's just turning more and more people away from the Democratic Party because they don't want anything to do with that. They don't want to be a part of this hatred and nastiness and really just hyping up the division. We're sick of it. We're sick of hyphenated America. We're all Americans. We want to put the country first, and we love our country, and that's all it is. And we're tired of being called bigots just because we love this country.
Well, look, I think that's starting to backfire because, the fact that I support the president and his America First policy agenda, I don't agree with every tweet that he sends out. Some I wouldn't do myself. But, I take the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? He is who he is, and he's going to do what he does. And I'll take that because the trade-off for that is all the great things he does. And so, to me, it has no impact on me. But, to be called a racist because you back an agenda that puts America and taxpayers first and wants to get out of these foreign entanglements and doesn't want to intervene in other countries' domestic policies and overturn governments and regimes and wants to cut taxes, bring jobs and prosperity back, not get screwed by China and other countries and not have illegals overrun the United States, because if you have no border, you have no country, and there's 7 billion people in the world and they all want to come here. So you can't have that, or you just don't have an America. To be for that and to be called a racist, it pisses a lot of people off because I just happen to believe in his policies. So I think you're right, Liz. I think that is really going to backfire because there's no, I can tell you that there's not a single Trump supporter that I know in my network who I would even closely classify as anything near a racist or a bigot or anything else. They simply believe in his agenda and they want to move the country forward. And his policies economically are uplifting everybody. So I think it is going to backfire. But, Liz, there's still an intimidation factor.
Well, sure. You can't be a 16-year-old kid and go to the March for Life wearing your Make America Great Again hat without them wanting to destroy your life. And that's what we saw with the Covington kids. Of course there's a chilling effect. I live in D.C. I don't put a bumper sticker on my car. It'll get keyed. I put that up in my office. It is a chilling effect when you're in these places that are so politicized and they're so left-wing. However, there's a silent majority, and it's growing. And we know it's proof in the president's historic victory in 2016 when everyone said he was going to lose. It's going to be proof again in 2020 because that support is growing. And it's exactly what you were saying. You're not a racist just because you want to secure this border. And really, all these issues are just common sense. You're like, well, wait a minute. What about, legal American citizens, legal immigrants? How is it fair to them who had to wait in line in many ways in an arcane legal immigration system, wait for years, and then now the Democrats are saying open borders, you step one foot in this country, you become a citizen, you get free college and free health care. That is not fair. That's not common sense. And so I think in a lot of ways what President Trump has done has restored common sense to Washington. Make government work again. Make it not be so upside down and so liberal and so a plan for every aspect of your life. They want government out of the way. They want it to work in a common sense, more like a business. And who better than the most successful business we've had run, and President Trump, who's now taken his expertise from the private sector and brought it into government. And look, it's working, and it's largely because we've gotten government out of the way. And there's nothing racist about that. Look at the results. The lowest African American employment in history across every minority group. Record low unemployment. Bottom 10% their incomes are rising at the fastest rate. These policies are truly working for everyone, and it's really a great time. And people see that, and they're tuning out. They're tuning out to the mainstream media and what the Democrats are saying because they just know it's not true.
Well, Liz, I hope you're right. I know you're right, but I hope other people see that. But look, we have to deal with the intimidation factor. It's sick, but it's out there.
Sad,
and
yeah.
I tell this story all the time. I took my son plays high school baseball at a high level. He plays travel ball, and so I was on the road with him in the summer, middle of June to the end of July for 6 weeks, and we went to basically southern states. I mean, I live in the South, right? I live in Virginia. So we were in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, Orlando, Fort Myers, and somewhere else in Florida, Hoover, Alabama. This went over a 6-week period. I was on the road with them. And every time I went to a game, during the day or night, I put on my Trump hat. And over the 6-week period, at least 100 people came to me and whispered in my ear, whispered, "Hey, I'm with Trump too. Good luck." It's like, okay, yeah, what's your name? Give me your card. Oh, no. I just want to tell you I'm with him. I mean, people would give me like a silent thumbs up in the men's room at the latrine. I'm serious. People are scared to death to have other people see that they're a Trump supporter. And I was in the South for 6 weeks. Not like I was in New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania or Massachusetts. I was in southern states with my 15-year-old. And I got that over and over and over and over. And I got it a little bit in 2016, but nothing like I got in 2019 with my various paraphernalia, because I just don't care. I mean, I am who I am, and nobody's going to intimidate me. But it has an effect on a lot of people. So, look, I appreciate your being with us. Liz Harrington, spokesperson of Republican National Committee. Liz, I'm glad you're there. Let's have you on more often. And I'm glad you're no longer with your neocon warmonger rag, Washington Free Beacon. Glad you're with the good guys. I'm sorry, Liz, I got to get that in.
Free Beacons, they're the good guys too.
I know, but they're just warmongers, man. Every time all they want to do is launch more wars, and you know it too. John Fredericks Radio Network.